for another update. Let's take a look at XRP today. Now, in my second last video, I did point out the possibility that this could be an ABC correction. The reason I said that this could have been an ABC correction is simply because this move over here never got above the 1.382 extension. Now, what I've noticed in crypto, from the many years that I've been in crypto, I've noticed that just before we have a B wave, a news event comes out, and in this case, when this B wave happened, Ripple or Brad Garlinghouse announced that the case with the SEC is over, like fully over. And as soon as that news came out, we shot up to the 1.382 extension, but we were unable to get above it. So it made me think that we were doing an ABC correction, and then the video I made after that showed that we were showing some strength over here and that we could see continuation higher. However, if we were unable to see that continuation, then it's likely we would go with my first idea of this being an ABC correction. Now, it looks like we have come down to the 61.8% fib at $2.16. We may see a pop up here, but my main point of interest would be at the yearly open, sitting at $2.08. So what I would be expecting is a move down to around 210 to 205, and that would be the 70.2 to 78.6% fib. From these two levels, I would be expecting a move back up to this weekly open, which would also be the 702, sitting at 243. So if we get a move down to 210 and 205, it's likely we're going to trend, and we see a bounce from these two levels, it's likely we're going to trend back to the weekly open, which would be a 16 and 19% gain. Okay, so from these two levels, it would be a 19 and 16% gain. You guys can place your buy limits here, just in case we see a pop up from there. Now, in this scenario where we lose $2.05, it's likely it's going to come back down to the lows at $1.90, right? I don't think that we're going to break the lows at $1.90. I think that we're just going to wick down to it if $2.04 get lost, right? This is your range over here. Don't forget that XRP has been ranging for over 115 days now, right? Now, this is very apparent that this is a head and shoulders pattern. Usually when you see a head and shoulders pattern like this at a wave 3, then it's likely it's going to be a head and shoulders fake out. You can even consider it like a ball underwater. You see how many times the price has rejected off of this resistance level. So traders are shorting this, placing their stops above the trend line, but you can consider it like a wall of liquidity. So this is your trend line liquidity, and once XRP finds its bottom at these fibs over here, it's likely going to see a push up to take out all of these short stops, right? And then the FOMO will kick in, the realization will set in, and then that'll end up driving the price higher because it's kind of like a domino effect, right? So these would be the three levels I'd be looking at going forward. These three levels right over here. Okay, so 216, which it currently tapped, so we may see a pop up from here. We can only confirm that this is the bottom until we get 4-hour close back above 234 and 243. Otherwise, we're going to come down to 210 to $2.05, which would be the 70.2 to 78.6% fib. This region right over here. This is where I'd be expecting a nice pop to the upside, about a 16 and 19% gain. In the scenario where we lose $2.05, then it's likely we're just going to come back down and wick to $1.90, but it's unlikely we will go below $1.90 considering this is just our reaccumulation range. Okay, you see this range over here? Within the entirety of this 116-day long range, we've been ranging within this smaller, we've been trading within this smaller range for 57 days now, or let me see here, about 54, 55 days. So within the entirety of this 115 day long range, within the smaller range, we've been trading for 53, 54 days. So I do believe that time versus price really matters. And when you have price-based capitulation, which is 47% from peak to trough of the range, and then you have time-based capitulation, you're likely to see a short squeeze to the upside. Okay, it's just going to take some time, because don't forget, we're still ranging sideways, and we still need this bottom to come in. Either we see a pop up here or a move down to these levels before we get things going. Now, taking a look at XRP on the macro chart over here, let me just pull up a chart so you guys can see clearly. Taking a look here at the 3-day time frame. As you guys can see, we've hit the 50% fib at $1.88. Okay, the absolute worst case scenario where we lose $1.90 on the daily time frame. So if we get a daily close below $1.90, then we'll come down to the 618, and then this would be your A, B, and your C correction. Right now, this is not my main case. This would be the most bearish scenario in my opinion, where we would come down to around $1.50, $1.60. But I do think that this is the bottom over here. So you have your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder. Market participants shorting this diagonal trend line. But after XRP finds its bottoming, or finds its footing around this region, we should see that short squeeze to the upside to take out all of these short stops piled up above this trend line. Okay. Okay, so the first scenario would be that we hold these three levels here. We hold this region where XRP is at right now, down to 210 and 205. Or let me see here. Yeah, 216 to 205. That would be the bullish scenario. That would be the first scenario where we see a pop up from this region. Okay. Second scenario would be that we lose $2.05. And in this scenario where we lose $2.05, it would likely just mean that we just come down to wick these lows and then see a pop up from there. Okay, that's the second scenario. The third scenario would be that we lose $1.90 on the daily time frame, and then we would come down to the 618 at $1.55. Don't forget that XRP, like Bitcoin, has only had 4 waves. Okay, going all the way back to 2018, what do we see over here? We see a huge pennant. This is your wave 4. Taking a look here. This is your wave 1 from June 2014 to December 2014, and then a wave 2 going to 2017. This is your wave 3, and then you had this huge 2,500 day long wave 4. Now we're within our wave 5 to the upside. Okay. Look how long this wave 4 lasted. All of this accumulation. Right? You guys see that? This was your wave 4 pennant. And then once this pennant finished, once this E wave terminated, then we started our wave 5 of 5. So, or sorry, we started our impulsive move up for our wave 5. So this would be your wave 1, your wave 2, your third wave, carving out a fourth before we have that fifth wave to the upside. This fifth wave is likely to trend towards 13, considering that is the 4.236 extension measured from our 2018 high. Okay, do you guys see this 4.236? It's right there at 13. Right there at 13 bucks. Okay. So just stay patient. If you're holding XRP, we should see a really nice move to the upside. Remember the 3 scenarios I was telling you about. We either pop up from current price down to $2.04. If we lose $2.04, then we're going to wick down to this neckline and then see a pop back up again, a retraction back into the range. Or if we have daily close below $1.90, then we come down to around 155. But that would be the least likely scenario in my perspective. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just remember to stay patient. Remember to hodl because we should be in for some fireworks soon, considering Bitcoin looks to be finding its footing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.